Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Malika and welcome. And if you are a returning visitor, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for supporting my channel. Today's video is not going to be a video for entertainment purposes. Today's video is for educational purposes. So I want to tell you a quick story about me before we go and I finish making the video about what I want to show you today. So when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I was like a horrible teenager. I was like your worst nightmare teenager. Real smart attitudes, smart mouths, just a real ass, really. And so this one particular day, my father's wife had made breakfast for her children. And when I came down that morning, I asked, "Oh, can you make me a sunny side up egg?" I wasn't good at making them because every time I broke the yolk or broke the egg, I would bust the yolk. And that defeats the purpose because then it's not sunny side up anymore. So she said, "No, you can make your own egg." So I was kind of perturbed about that. And I said, okay. So I went, got the stuff and I got the eggs and I started to make my own eggs. So I cracked the first egg and, of course, put my thumbs through the yolk and ruined that egg. So I let it solidify in the pan, proceeded to scrape it out and throw it in the trash. Grabbed another egg, cracked it, did the same thing, busted the yolk. And I don't want it at that point because it wasn't a sunny side up egg like I wanted. So I scraped that egg in the trash too. And I got egg number 3. Got to that egg. What did I do? Bust that yolk too. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I let it solidify in the pan, scrape that one in the trash. So by then, when I got to the 4th egg, she noticed what I was doing. And she told me, she said, if you break that yolk, you're going to eat that egg. Regardless of how it comes out, you are not going to waste another egg and throw it in the trash. She said, don't you know that there are children in Cambodia that are starving and would love to have those eggs? So me being the teenager that I was, I just probably rolled my eyes. If I'm not mistaken, I probably did roll my eyes and smack my lips or whatever. And I proceeded to work on that 4th egg. Well, luckily, that 4th egg came out right. I didn't bust the yolk. So I put my egg on the plate, set it on the table, and I didn't sit down to eat right away. What I did was, went in the other room, I got an envelope and an ink pen. And on the envelope, I wrote, "To the Cambodian children, Cambodia." I went to the trash. I got the eggs, the 3 eggs that I had thrown away, and I put them in the envelope and I sealed it up. And I walked up to my father's wife and I handed her the envelope and I said, excuse me, would you happen to have a stamp? That was just ignorant, wasn't it? But like I said, I was an ass teenager. Little did I know how true that statement was. I really wish at that point she would have educated me instead of just punishing me and being angry. I didn't find out until years later, but between the years of 1975 and 1979, over 2 million Cambodian people died. They were either executed, which the majority of them were, about 80% were executed, and the rest died from starvation or disease at the hands of the Khmer Rouge and its maniacal leader, Pol Pot. 2 million people was 1/4 of the population of this whole country. Now, just to give you a brief history about the Khmer Rouge and Pol Pot. Pol Pot took over the government, and his ideology was a warped, hyper communist stance. Very Marxist, very Leninist, but totally twisted. So he admired the peasants, the peasant lifestyle, very self sufficient, not needing any government assistance, not needing modern technology to survive, not needing any interference from the outside world, completely contained in their own little villages, oblivious to what was going on around them. You know, they grew their own food, they had their animals, they weaved their own cloth, they had wells for their water, they didn't have electricity. He really loved that. And he hated educated people. So, what he wanted to do was turn the whole country of Cambodia to a classless society based on the lifestyle of the peasants. So, what he did was he drove a tank into the city that I'm in now, Phnom Penh, totally evacuated the whole city, and took all of the residents and put them in agricultural camps, labor camps out in the fields, so that he can realize his dream of becoming an agrarian society. He hated money, of course, because money was symbolic of capitalism. So he burned all the money, burned down all the banks in the whole country, which is actually the reason why United States dollars are used here in Cambodia, because once Cambodia was liberated by the Vietnamese, in order to help get their economy restarted and get them on their feet, the United States introduced our currency and gave them a lot of money. People that were educated, doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers, scientists, all of those people were executed right off the rip. He didn't like them. They were, they had the potential in his mind to revolt or lead revolts, so they had to be eliminated immediately. The same thing with any religious leaders. So all of the Buddhist monks were killed, all of the Christian priests were killed, all of the Islamic imams were killed right off the rip. The young boys were taken and used as soldiers. Things weren't working out as they planned, and people were starving. People were catching malaria and other diseases, and now you've killed all the doctors, and you know, there's no hospitals, no nothing, so there's no medical care. Of course, education was outlawed. Any free thinking was outlawed. As far as the executions go, he believed that bullets, ammunition, they were precious commodities. They weren't to be wasted on these Cambodian people. So most, all, I would probably say all of the deaths were due to either being tortured and then dying from the torture, or just bludgeoned to death. 2 million people, a quarter of the population, that's a lot. So today I am going to take you to S21, which was at one time a school. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was a high school right here in the city. This is the site of the infamous prison S21 that they brought what is estimated to be 1,000 people a day here to torture them and then murder them. After I take you to S21, the prison, I am going to take you to the killing fields. Now, there was a movie called The Killing Fields. It was a very good movie. I think it's a British movie, I'm not sure. But the killing fields are where they would take the prisoners from S-21. And actually, it was an old apple orchard. And that's where they would murder them and then throw them in mass graves. The tortures at the prison would consist of electric shocks with like jumper cables and car batteries, to waterboarding, to pulling off fingernails and toenails, and beatings, and just horrific other techniques that they would use. And then, like I said, they would take them out and they would bash their heads in and kill them. And this is graphic, I apologize. The infants and the children. He didn't want the infants and children to live because he felt that they may one day grow up and want to avenge the death of their parents. So they needed to be exterminated. He instructed the young soldiers, the young boys that he had, taken out of the normal society and turned them into soldiers, to take the children and the infants by their legs, by their ankles, and swing them and bash them into a tree until they were dead, and then throw them in a mass grave. I will show you the tree that thousands of children and babies were killed on. So at the killing fields, they have uncovered maybe about 50,000 people in mass graves. Most of them, they said they found them, they were blindfolded, their hands were bound, their skulls were bashed in. Some of them were headless. There's a building there. They used the building to put the skulls in. And there's over 8,000 skulls in this building, and they're all arranged by sex and age. At the killing fields, there's approximately 129 mass graves. There's approximately 43 of those mass graves that have not been touched, and you will be able to see them. I'll show you. There'll be hills. There are estimated that in the country there are over 20,000 mass graves throughout the country, because they made a lot of the people dig their own graves, the ones that weren't thrown in a mass grave. They allowed them to dig their own graves, and they were weak and they were starving. So, of course, they couldn't dig a 6-foot grave. They were very shallow. Over the years, because of the rain, because of erosion, a lot of these graves are partially uncovered, and you can see clothing, bones, teeth, hair sticking up out of the ground, and they've left it. Each person that was murdered at this prison that was taken out to the killing fields and thrown in the grave, they documented meticulously each person, which means a photograph. So these photographs are on display in the museum, and they're very graphic. So in 1979, the Vietnamese came and liberated the country from Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. When that happened, there were only 12 survivors from this prison. 4 of them were children. So I want to make this perfectly clear. As I said, this video is not for entertainment. This video is not for likes. This is for education. And I want to be sure and be clear that my intentions are to approach this very respectfully to the victims, to the Cambodian people at large overall. So I just want to let you know that yes, there will be some images that will be graphic in nature. If you may find those too disturbing, I just want to forewarn you that I will show you as much as I can where I still feel that I am being very respectful to what I am seeing and to this horrific legacy that the Cambodian people live under. So with that said, I will get going.
Oh, no, no video. Oh, no. They deep the hole. Over 1980, I saw very smell, bad smell. Cambodia killing field, 343 killing field. The 2 million people died. Here, 20,000, doctor, teacher, lawyer, no farmer. A mass grave here.
Oh my God. Look at all of them. These have been the excavated graves. There was over 800 here.
Put back.
Those are teeth.
Yeah.
Look. It's teeth.
And that's 66 victims without head. Because the Pol Pot shoulder, killed Pol Pot shoulder, the traitor cut the head. When I saw where the head, saw the body and the leg. I don't know where the head. Bone here, sure. Down. Leg bone, you see?
Oh, the bone.
Really? It's everywhere here. This small bone here.
When it rains and the soil
Come on.
erodes, the bones come out.
Small bone.
Oh, God.
Come on, here, more. Zoom like a song. Clothing. Bone here, right this here.
These are clothes. And
My
bones.
father and my uncle worked here in 1978 as a SAP. Crazy. I'm sure they were naked here. It's a foreigner to play here. Foreigner. Tie the hand in here. Down here. Here. More. It's unbelievable. To kill the man, woman, kid, the baby here. The big children head against the tree here. Why kid baby? Why? The souls and spirit here. Many ghosts. 80, 89. I sleep near poison here. Sure. Sad. The American England the face here. Right hand like this. Sure. You stand here. The photo here. Stand here. Come on. This is the trees and the English here. Photo. Historical boy killing field. Yeah. That whole area here. Sad.
Bones
Sad.
and teeth. Look at all those bones. Oh my God.
Want to see the muscular more bone skull here? Okay, come on.
Look at that.
Here.
Oh my God.
86 mass bill, 9,000 skull here by whole hammer. Zoom here. Come on. My God. Foreigner eggs by whole. Little shot poison. The before to kill and the politician torture. No notice for the politics. Crazy man. 17 story, 9,000 skull here.
Oh my God.
Too bad.
Oh my God.
See the bullet here. Okay, come on, please. Bullets. Bullets by nets. So bullets kill people. So here, under here, system here. My God. So, my God, more. Just set it here. Oh. Too bad. Young baby. I'm a whole 9,000 scar. Politics torture. Crazy man. Too bad. Sure, all this for now the white nap, the hands.
Oh my God.
See. You see down? See close. I mean, no, close people here. And this guy just don't understand everything.
Just look at that.
Sure. See the hand, the torture here. Come on, camera here. You see? Oh, my God. Okay, zoom, come
Oh,
on.
they cut the hands off.
Yeah, the hand, torture.
Oh,
Tie the hand before the kill. Tie the hand. Shuffle the leg here. Shuffle. Still here. My God. I don't understand. Crazy man.
so this was a school at one time. This is the prison. Okay, so I just got back. That was deep. That was really deep. My guy did not want to be filmed because he said something about the government. Um, I don't know. I didn't really understand what he was trying to say, but he was 18 years old when all of that happened. His parents, he saw his parents murdered, his uncle, because they were doctors. I think I said that earlier. Um, just a heavy place. There were in the prison rooms after rooms after rooms full of photographs of people, and a lot of the photographs were of people after they had been murdered, but men, women, children. Thankfully, there were no photos of babies. Going back to him saying something about the government and not wanting to be filmed, I have read and I truly believe that the Cambodian people have a real fear to this day of government. They have been colonized by the French. They've been bombed by the United States. They've been in a war with Thailand um, and Laos, and then Pol Pot and his craziness, and then the Vietnamese, and now the Chinese. So they've been through trauma after trauma after trauma in this country. I have a great sadness for what a lot of the people went through that are still living. I mean, words cannot describe just the vibes, the energy as you go through those mass graves and you look at those skulls and you see those photographs. It just drains you. It it's hard to describe. It really is. I pray that I was respectful, that I displayed um, this educational moment in a respectful manner. Um, I really don't know what else to say, you guys. So, with that said, I'm going to end the video. And I appreciate that you join me on this journey. Um, I don't know. I want to cry. I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to go have lunch, but I appreciate you being here. And maybe you would share this video with your friends if you think they would be interested. Um, and until we see each other again, keep moving. Bye, y'all.